scenes of mayhem in central Beirut. For the first time since protests began, police fired rubber bullets against demonstrators. More than 40 people were injured as clashes dragged on into the early hours of Sunday morning. It was the worst violence Lebanon had seen since anti-government demonstrations broke out 2 months ago. Witnesses say it was sparked earlier on Saturday when dozens of masked men began attacking security forces on the fringe of the protest camp. They were reportedly angry at the way anti-government protesters had lashed out against leaders of Hezbollah and Amal, both Shiite movements.
Another casualty of Yemen's war. This tanker floating off the northern coast is leaking fuel into the Red Sea. There are 1.2 million barrels on board, and Houthis, which want the diesel unloaded, are appealing for international help.
If the leakage continues, the problem will be beyond the capability of the world community. We blame the Saudi-led aggression on our country, as they have refused to allow us to unload the shipment and pay the monthly salaries of public employees, as agreed during the Sweden peace accord.
There are fears the ship could erode and explode, and experts are warning the ongoing oil spill could have a lasting impact on the marine environment.
This is the village of Gurgureh in Nangarhar province, close to the Pakistan border. It was the stronghold of Isil in Afghanistan. Now it's a ruin, destroyed by US bombs. It was from here that the armed group planned and launched attacks and carried out brutal punishments. But over the last few months, the US and Afghan air forces have waged a sustained bombing campaign that has significantly reduced ISIL's capability.
The joint campaign with the US has been big and effective. It has been a game changer and will continue. Wherever they are, we will target them. ISIL is in the process of being eradicated. We won't stop until they are.
That contrasts with the situation 6 months ago when ISIL, bolstered by fighters from Iraq and Syria, was being described as a serious threat.
A stark warning tonight that Sydney could be without drinking water within 2.5 years unless we get significant rain or even tighter water restrictions. And now there's a more pressing concern, protecting what's in the dam from being contaminated by ash and debris from bushfires.
At Warragamba Dam today, haze the only hint of a threat nearby, a huge fire front producing ash and debris that poses a risk to our drinking water. Water authorities are now considering booms and curtains to intercept contaminants. The fear that expected late January storms will wash that debris into the catchment. The flip side, unless we get significant rain, this dam will be empty by May 2022. The water level at Warragamba has fallen from 63.7% a year ago to just 45.6% today, and it's still falling.
Passengers on a Qantas flight from Sydney to Perth have been evacuated after an hydraulic issue forced their plane to turn around. Sydney Airport media says there are now delays with other Qantas flights. Passengers were evacuated via emergency slides and have described the panic on board. The airline says the issue was caused by a leak of hydraulic fluid that had been filtered through the air conditioning system.
The Scottish National Party won 48 of Scotland's 59 seats in the British Parliament on Thursday. Boris Johnson's Conservative Party held on to only 6 seats. The results are reviving the issue of Scottish independence and a fracturing of the United Kingdom. Michael Russell is a senior Scottish cabinet minister and previously served as Scotland's Brexit minister. He joins us today from Argyll in Scotland.
She's had that mandate for a considerable period of time, but it has been intensified this week. We took 80% of Scotland's seats, way beyond the total of seats that the Tories have taken, even across the whole of the UK. There is a very clear view in Scotland, because this was what the election was about, that Scotland does not want to leave the EU. We voted against it in 2016, clearly voted against it now, and it does have the right to choose whether or not to do so, and that's the issue.
As winter hits, the picture in hospitals across the country is the same. A health service in crisis. Delays in A&E worse than ever before. A severe shortage of beds and the number of people waiting for routine treatment has grown to over 4 million. A grim reminder of the immediate challenge facing the Prime Minister as he pledges to fix the NHS. This overwhelming demand on health services highlighted in the latest NHS figures, which show just 81.4% of A&E patients were seen within 4 hours in November. The target is 95%. Almost 90,000 patients waited more than 4 hours to be admitted to hospital, compared with just over 54,000 in the same month last year. Of these, around 1,000 patients had to wait more than 12 hours.
Now, the southern Philippines has been shaken by a magnitude 6.9 earthquake. At least one child is reportedly killed after a wall collapsed. Well, strong tremors were felt in Davao City and Cotabato, where there have been reports of a building collapse with people trapped inside. No tsunami warnings have been issued, but electricity supplies have been disrupted.
Mbubus get lost, Mbubus that's enough. Several hundred protesters brandishing banners gathered at the landfill outside Dakar to demonstrate against the country's biggest garbage dump. Over 2,000 tonnes of waste is dumped at this open-air landfill on a daily basis. None of the waste is recycled nor treated. Waste is simply compressed to take up less space. And it's been like that for 40 years. More than 2,000 waste pickers work here every day, looking for plastics or scrap metal to sell on. Regular fires spread thick black smoke across the surrounding areas. It's a nightmare for residents.